Wilson Morales from Black Film TV talking to Sinqua Walls regarding his film that's currently on Netflix. Carry on. How's it going?
It's good, my brother. How are you?
Good. It's been getting a lot of good feedback. So congrats on the film. Let's talk about. Listen, you've been doing a lot of projects. How did you get involved in this one?
Classic way, an actor gets involved in a lot of different projects. I had an opportunity on this one in particular to have a meeting with the director, Jaume Collet-Serra. Prior to there was an opportunity, there was a role that was available. He was familiar with a little bit of my work. I think there was some he had an opportunity, I think, to watch White Men Can't Jump. And so we ended up having a meeting and talking, and I was a fan of his work. I love what he does. I think what everybody sees, from the way he tells a story with action, his close-ups, his quick cuts, the way he builds suspense. And honestly, genuinely was a fan. So once I met with him, I asked him, if he would allow me the opportunity to shadow him on set on any off days, in addition to being an actor in the film, would that be okay? And then I told him on the phone, like, I would do it. And he was like, all you need me to do is agree to let you shadow me. And I was like, yeah, in addition to everything else. And he was like, okay. And so he was gracious, and that's ultimately how it happened.
Now it's funny. Like, let's go back a bit. When talent tells you, "I've seen your work,"
Yeah.
and you've done projects, which is the one project you hope that they've seen? Like you said, White Man Can't Jump. I'm
Yeah.
like, really?
Yeah.
But going back, like, think about it.
Yeah.
When you talk to people, I've seen your work. What's the one project you've done that you hope that they have seen?
It's funny. I had a showrunner that I worked with several years ago who had seen a compilation of my work. And I think, filmmakers, writers, directors, storytellers, producers, when they're making decisions on casting, what I've learned is like they haven't always seen the thing that they maybe relate to in what they see in the script of the character that they're courting you for. So now, before I probably would have had one or two, something that was like of paramount, like, is this the one I want people to watch? But now I would prefer it's like a compilation, because I think what people have discovered, you and I have, been on the trails together. I've met, from the journey. Um, I feel like now I hope that people have watched a lot of different things so that they can have a real good gauge of range, or, my ability as a storyteller, or how it inhabits their story. So it's not one anymore. It's almost like I hope you've seen at least four, so that way you can say, oh, you know, I saw Nanny, or I saw, White Men Can't Jump, or I saw Resort to Love, or I saw American Soul, or um, anything that really like captivates their attention so that they say yes.
It's funny. He was name dropping. I was like, I forgot he was in this one, and
All
that
right.
one. And even though I've seen him, but it ain't coming off the tip of my tongue and so forth.
All right.
But going back to Carry On, we won't say exactly what happens to your characters and so forth. But you're playing a TSA agent. Having done this film now, do you
Yeah.
have much more respect for TSA agent whenever you're traveling?
Immensely. I mean, for me, I've always been the type of person, you know, if it doesn't concern me, I try to stay out the way. I think less is more, and less drama is more peace. So I try to focus on less drama, more peace. So I've always been the type of person, going through the airport, even if it's like one of those days, especially shout out to anybody that's flying out of like, Jackson Hartfield Atlanta Airport, because I fly out of that airport a lot. And you have a day where it might only take you 10 minutes. You have a day where it might take you an hour and 20 minutes. But either way it goes, I'm always very chill when it comes to, going through the line. But now I have even so much more respect for TSA agents, because I recognize what they go through behind the scenes, and, the screening process that they have to go through, the way they have to vet and make decisions on, who do we have to random check, or like when they're getting literally, we have this opening sequence in the movie where we are getting ripped apart by people traveling through Christmas. And that really does happen to them, man. And so now I'm so patient. Like, I almost want to jump in. Since Carry On, I almost want to jump in and help. Like, if someone's like doesn't already have their shoes untied, I'm like, you should probably put those in the bin. Like, taking your electronics out.
Like you said, we've all traveled. Like I
Yeah.
just recently traveled, and my knee was hurt. So I had a knee brace on. One of those joints you get from over the counter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you go through security. Oh, you gotta take that off. I'm like, are you serious? And they go like, you want me to take the pants off put
Yeah.
it back, and get back online. I got 12 minutes before
Oh,
my
that's crazy.
boarding time. I'm like,
Yeah.
really? Come on. Or when somebody's let go, when you're online and you're on that, the priority line, Sky Miles, and they're like, oh, let these 5 people go because they're clear. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah. No, but
But
that's
you don't want to
that's
miss
what I
that
said.
number
Like the
silence.
clear is tricky because I am clear, and then there's times when they're like, you know what, clear's not working today. And I'm like, why do I have clear at all?
Yeah, so we've all been there, but like
Yeah.
this movie is a throwback to other films that we've seen in the past. And it's almost like obviously with this director, he's done these over and over again, but he does them in a different style that we still coming back because we're like, I don't care what kind of take it is, I know it's different from the last one.
Yes.
So like when you're working with a director like this, and you've worked on other projects before, so what's your takeaway from doing this movie, working with him? That whatever projects you do next, maybe there's something from this movie you got out of it?
Oh, absolutely. I think like I said, one of the key caveats was like me being able to just kind of like sit around him and observe his process and observe, how he, like you said, details and makes things that may be similar so different each one. Um, I think the biggest thing that I could say, man, is that there's so much story in the details. Jama was so specific about how he would shoot the insert of a cup or how he would shoot, you know, um, the way wheels would roll over the floor. And I think those are different elements of storytelling that you can help build suspense, that you can help, use it to build laughter or sadness or sorrow, whatever it is. And I just learned even more about how good storytelling can be so many things in terms of detail that you may or may not have even thought about. Like I said, an insert of a cup, and you don't realize when they're doing that quick insert that's going to help tell the story later. So now I'm even more intricate in understanding the process of a project. And I think, I've been blessed to have worked with some really, really good filmmakers. One of my favorite filmmakers, Tonatiuh Juicy, we did Nanny together, and we're like, we're contemporaries, and we always talk about so many different things. But again, a filmmaker, Jama, a filmmaker, and like, I mean, there's several Clint Eastwood, a filmmaker that people are stolen different things where I'm like, oh wow, that's the process that brings the story together. And really it is the nuance of detail that they keep in their head that they then put on the screen or use in inserts definitely tells a greater story.
Listen, you had earlier this year, you had Fight Night,
Yeah,
that a lot of people got to see. So
yeah,
you in a different light. We're like, oh, you know what? He could be the mean guy. Sometimes you watch a person for a long time, you wonder, can they play the villain role? Is he
yeah,
sellable? I remember, hey, going back to Denzel when he did Training Day for a period of time, we're like, Denzel's always good, the good guy. We don't see him being bad. Then you
yeah,
saw Training Day, you're like, all of a sudden, eyes opened up.
yeah,
For a role like this, for Fight Night, they're like,
yeah.
eyes opened up. This guy could be put in a different role. Give him the range, and see what he can do. So
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
what goes into saying yes to the projects you take?
I think it now, right? It's great. I love that you said that, bro, because it's funny because what we fell in love with, what you fell in love with, as a student and a cinephile of the game, what I fell in love with as a student and a cinephile of the game is from the perspective of actors who had range and could tell stories from Marlon Brando to Denzel, to Christian Bale now to, Meryl Streep to Viola. Like there are so many different people where it's like, no, good actors have range and they can play in so many different sandboxes and so many different mediums. And my goal was always just to continue to grow as an actor so I can tap into multiple genres. And then there's a time when if you do something well, people say, is that all you do? Or maybe they say that is all you can do. And so I was fortunate that with Fight Night, I think people got to see, things that people who have seen me on stage do, but then people that haven't seen the TV and film perspective haven't seen yet. So it was cool to be able to be a hardened character because a lot of those characters live inside. And it's exactly that. I think when the journey was beginning, saying yes was simply to whatever was going to keep the lights on.
Hey, listen, everybody knows that feeling. At the end of the day, you choose wisely, you choose soundly. We
Yeah,
don't just see you on the screen and so forth. What's
yeah.
what's coming up
Now, Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna say now it's really about working with really great artists and really great, collaborators and wanting to just aspire to continue to grow because so many talented people are emerging, so many talented people are established, and I'm just like, I want to be in that pocket, you know? Um, Next, there's some things coming down the pipe. I got a couple of things coming down the pipe in 2025. You know me, man. I'm
Yeah,
always
see, that's the veteran. You
trying.
know, you can't say the veteran. See, a newcomer without a team would be like, oh, I got this coming up. Like, why'd you announce it? It ain't even changed yet. The veteran be like, don't say it. Tease him a
Well,
little bit.
you know me, bro. I always like the one thing about me is I like to stay on set. I don't know why. It's one of my favorite places in the world. So the work brings me so much joy. I do and genuinely enjoy walking on set, being in craft service, going, getting there in the morning. I enjoy the process of filmmaking just as much as I enjoy just in watching film. So, I stay working to keep my zest alive.
Hey, for now, we got Carry On to enjoy during the holidays. And sometimes it's always good to be seen. Obviously, people can go back and watch Fight Night, because I'm sure hopefully they'll get nominated for the NAACP or you never know, other awards. So, listen, I just keep saying, keep the shoes on till the dance is over.
I was
You know
still keep
what
the
I'm
shoes on
saying?
until the dance is over.
The dance is over. Keep dancing. Like remember Saturday was it a Grease? It was like keep dancing. So they
Keep
pull you
dancing.
off.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm still on. Keep going.
Yeah,
We're
yo,
always there. I'm always there to support you. It's good to see you on this one. We'll talk down the road. Have a good
absolutely.
one.
Always, man.
Take care.